Good evening, I'm Ces Oreña-Drilon.
And I'm Shawn Yao.
So far, all government officials asked about the President's lifestyle check directive are all for it, though they have reservations on who and how it should be conducted and how deep the scrutiny will go.
And with the President's lifestyle check order out, posts of several personalities flexing their lavish way of life have resurfaced online. It's netizens exposing so-called Nepo babies.
The agency supposed to handle the lifestyle checks of government officials is still without a permanent head, but public interviews for ombudsman applicants have already begun.
Hindi ba dapat mauna kami?
Dapat deep dive kung sino yung mga dummy. Ilabas yung mga dummy.
Ang hamon natin kay Pangulong Marcos ay pangunahan niya ang lifestyle checks sa sarili niya at sa kanyang pamilya.
Lawmakers are expressing their readiness to go through the lifestyle check President Bongbong Marcos is promoting amid the issue on anomalous flood control projects. Some of them, however, said the president himself should take the lead. As for the vice president, she said presidential appointees should also go through the lifestyle check. Mobile journalist Kyla Macantan with tonight's Big Story.
Dapat lang. At hindi lang yung elected public officials pati yung mga appointed public officials. At hindi lang yung mga yung on the surface na sasabihin natin kung ano yung nakalagay sa salin. Dapat deep dive kung sino yung mga dummy. Ilabas yung mga dummy ng mga public officials.
This is how Vice President Sara Duterte sees an honest-to-goodness lifestyle check on the back of President Bongbong Marcos's order for it, and everyone should be included, according to the VP, including appointees of her former running mate. Everything else should also be covered, including statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth or SALN. But these suggestions, Sara insists, are unsolicited.
Na ayoko magbigay ng libreng advice sa administrasyon. Panoorin na lang natin sila sa circus nila. Corruption, tapos flood control lang. Ang daming projects sa gobyerno, hindi lang flood.
Duterte said she has talked about corruption in national government when she headed the education department, but Malacanang accused her of crying wolf.
Noong 2024, last year, nagsabi na ako, sa school building program pa lang ng Department of Education, pinaghati-hatian na ng members of the House of Representatives, pero walang nag-react. Ang seryoso talaga ang administrasyon sa paghabol about sa corruption. Tingnan nila yung buong budget ng 2024 at ng 2025.
Duterte made all these statements while in The Hague visiting her ICC detained father, former President Digong. With her are her siblings, Congressman Pulong, acting Davao City Mayor Baste, and Kitty. But for Manila's 6th District Congressman Benny Abante, these are all talk from the VP. He challenges her to present proof.
Hindi naman pwedeng bigla ka magsasalita in a general term, no? Na wala ka namang puputos ng mga ebidensya. And let Congress investigate and review it.
As for the Vice President's friend and the President's sister, there is no problem with lifestyle checks. In fact, Senator Amy Marcos believes lawmakers should be the first in line.
Hindi ba dapat mauna kami? Kasi kami ang tumatayong liderato ng bansa. Dapat leader din kami sa anumang lifestyle at iba pang check.
Amy is also willing to open her SALN since this is a public document anyway, but she hopes it does not end there.
Alam niyo, yung lifestyle check, umpisa pa lamang. Pagkatapos doon, iimbestigahan kung talagang may negosyo o may na negosyo. At higit sa lahat, dapat may makulong kasi parang wala namang ending to. Hindi natutuldukan itong mga lifestyle check. Puro press release, puro banat, katakot-takot na birada. Tapos ang ending, wala naman nakukulong. Ano ba yun?
Senator Riz Ontiveros agrees that lawmakers should be at the forefront when it comes to the lifestyle check campaign. She expects President Marcos to take the lead.
Akala ko ibig niyang sabihin, kaming lahat sa anumang branches of government. Pero kung sasabihin niya executive lamang, edi okay, kung ganon, maaring voluntary sa aksyon ng Senate President at House Speaker o sa aksyon ng Chief Justice ng Korte Suprema. In the realm of possibility, sumali yung ibang branches of government. I think isa lang naman ito sa maraming pwedeng o dapat gawin. Alang-alang sa pagpapakita ng good faith, hindi masama ang lifestyle checks. Kahit papano nakakatulong maglikha ng environment, ng transparency. Kasi kung alam namin na maya't maya, kailangan sabihin namin o ipakita namin sa publiko ano ang aming lifestyle. Pero syempre, dapat may kasamang negative na reinforcement naman. Kung yan ay incentive or positive reinforcement, yung negative reinforcement ay yung sinabi din ni Senator Ping sa interpellation kahapon, yung kasiguruhan na mahuhuli, mapoprosecute, at kung found guilty, mapaparusahan.
For his part, Senate Deputy Majority Leader J.V. Ejercito believes those linked to anomalous flood control projects should be the first to go through the lifestyle check, starting with DPWH regional directors, district engineers, and assistant district engineers. The lawmakers also want these personalities on the immigration watch list. Senator Win Gatchalian also thinks the lifestyle check is a necessary step to combat corruption. He said this should not just be done in DPWH, but also in other agencies with large infrastructure budgets. For Gatchalian, this is the only way they could restore public trust and ensure accountability. Mobile journalist Kayla Macantan, We Are One News.
House lawmakers have also expressed support for President Marcos's order of a lifestyle check on all government officials and agencies. However, Bicol Sara Party List Representative Terry Ridon believes the scrutiny should also extend to members of the legislature and the judiciary.
I think wala naman ng problema na magkaroon din po ng lifestyle checks sa mga miyembro po ng Kongreso, miyembro po kahit ng hudikatura. Kasi syempre, kailangan naman po talagang all-encompassing. And more importantly, meron po talagang mga expectations on all government officials, on all government employees, na talagang pong dapat we should be able to lead and live modest lives. So I think very important po yun, na hindi lang ho mag-target, for example, on DPWH, but on each and every agency and on each and every political branch of government.
And just like Senator Ontiveros, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino wants the lifestyle check to begin with Malacanang.
So again, ang hamon natin kay Pangulong Marcos ay pangunahan niya ang lifestyle checks sa sarili niya at sa kanyang pamilya. And let's also not forget that since pinangungunahan ni Pangulong Marcos ang isang supposed anti-corruption campaign, hindi po natin maaaring makalimutan na mayroon pang mga long-standing and outstanding ill-gotten wealth cases sa pamilyang Marcos mismo.
President Marcos's order for a lifestyle check has not officially kicked off, but there is already scrutiny now on social media platforms. And what have netizens dug up? Signs of politicians living a life of luxury. Just like this one, flexing flying in a private jet and vacationing in several countries. Or this alleged Nepo baby showing off a collection of expensive bags. And here's one where a mayor's child is seen throwing a lavish birthday party while their town is still reeling from heavy floods. Now you may be asking, what's wrong with living a good life? Well, there is no law that prevents that, but there is one that prohibits public officials from flaunting it.
So sabi nga po, 'di ba, sa Republic Act number 6713 or also known as the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees, na they are not indulged in extravagant or ostentatious display of wealth in any form. Nakalulungkot isipin na nakikita po natin na yung mga kababayan natin naghihirap sa panahon natin ngayon. Nakikita natin na maraming mga anak or kamag-anak ng mga politiko yung pinaglalantakan yung mga luho nila sa social media na talagang nakaagaw ng atensyon sa publiko.
Some netizens, however, are just too overly eager to share their discoveries. Content creator Camille Ko has come out and said that she had been mistakenly associated with a family with the same surname. In a series of posts on X, Camille clarified that she is not related to the political clan being linked to controversial flood control projects. She stressed that she is not an heiress and that she works hard for her family's future. She tells netizens to fact-check first before jumping to conclusions. Camille also took a swipe at those, quote, corruption-funded shopping sprees.
And now weighing in on the issue of corruption and flood control projects is a former COA Commissioner, Heidi Mendoza. Good evening to you, Heidi. Welcome to the Big Story.
Good evening, Seth. Hi, good evening, Seth, and good evening, Shawn. Magandang gabi sa inyong mga tagasunod at tagapakinig.
All right. Unang-una, wala pang ombudsman. So should we wait or how else can this lifestyle check be conducted?
Una, yun yung no? Hindi ito bago, no? Ginawa na ito, no? Ginawa ito during the time of CCMA. Ginawa ito sa Bureau of Customs, ginawa ito sa BIR. But then, malinaw yung structure. Sino yung gagawa? Nag-create nun ng parang task force, inilagay sa Office of the President at yun ang binigyan ng katungkulan na mag-lifestyle check. Pangalawa, we have to revisit the existing legal framework. As of now, pinabawal yung act sa SALN. So, paano tayo magko-conduct ng lifestyle check ay ipinagbawal. Pangatlo, karanasan namin yan dahil isa ako doon sa nabigyan ng pagkakataon ng mga pag-lifestyle check noon. Ang karanasan namin, nadi-dismiss yung aming mga ipinafile na case on the basis na unexplained wealth. Kasi yun ang kaso yan kapag yung lifestyle mo ay hindi kaya suportahan ng income mo, no? And on the basis, ginagamit yung statement of asset and liability. Maraming kaso na nadi-dismiss. Alam mo kung bakit? Kasi simple lang. Yung provision dun sa SALN, pwede nilang i-review yon. So in the process, during the hearing, ang sasabihin lang ng mga pinakasuhan namin, actually, nagkamali ako hindi ko nailagay sa SALN ko.
Ganun
And for
lang.
the first time, allowed silang mag-review. Allowed silang mag-edit ng isang beses. Diba? So ang point ko, sana hindi lang yung parang nangongopya tayo dahil wala na tayong maisip at mukhang wala tayong masabi. Gusto natin mangopya. Sana tingnan muna asan ang specific na structure. Saan natin ito ikakarga? Sino ang manggagawa nito?
Yeah.
At naandyan ba bukas ba ang dokumento? Pang-apat, at eto yun, yung mga ahensya binibigyan ng kanya-kanyang opisina na mag-kolekta ng SALN. Ipinafile yan at the first day of office. I think bago mag-April 15, if I'm not mistaken. Hindi ko alam kung na-revise na yan. Pero ang tanong, wala namang instruction o walang malinaw na ito ba ay kailangang i-monitor. Kasi kung tutuusin, dapat built-in na ito as one of the existing control, di ba? Otherwise, bakit tayo nagpa-file ng SALN?
Yes.
Kung ito pala, papaalikabukan lang natin. So, halimbawa, kahit na sa ahensya, pag nag-file ka ng trabaho, nag-apply ka, submit ka ng SALN. Pero wala sa HR na manggagawa halimbawa ng trend analysis. Aba, ito palang empleyado kong ito kahit man lang yung increase-decrease, di ba? Parang pataas ng pataas, dumoble na ang taas ng kanyang asset magmula nung na-enter siya sa gobyerno para maging proactive yung anti-corruption efforts natin, di ba? Wala yan So talagang ako ang aking pakiusap bago ma-excite ang lahat sa lifestyle check, pwede ba paki-revisit po muna ng mga naging problema nung nakalipas? At ang pinakamatindi, at eto tatangkapin din natin, nangyari din kasi ito noon, yung team na binigyan ng karapatang mag-lifestyle check ng Uraco Trend. Pupunta sila dun sa sasabihin nila, eto, may nasa listahan namin, kasama ka. Kung magbabayad ka ng 500,000, alisin ka namin sa listahan. So we're talking of deeply embedded systemic practices here. So hindi pwedeng basta ka lang magbibitaw ng and you expect things to follow, you expect things to work, di ba? Kailangan, ito ay pakiusap. Nagpapasalamat naman tayo at mga nabanggit natin yan doon sa ating mga ipinopost sa Facebook na sana may ganito, ano. Kaya lang, yun nga, ang aking request ay kung maaari, i-revisit yung existing na legal and institutional framework. Ano ba yung existing na batas? Di ba pinagbawal nung umalis na yung dating ombudsman, yung giving access to the SALN, ano?
Can
Pangalawa,
that, Heidi, can that be lifted, that instruction? Kasi wala na naman si Ombudsman Martires. Who can
pero may
reverse
instruction ng
this?
ombudsman eh. I think the new ombudsman can. And in fact, kanina tinitingnan ko yung interview dun sa although hindi ko masyado natutukan, parang yung mga interview, favorable sila sa pagbibigay ng access sa copies ng mga SALN, di ba? Pero ang isa pang tutukan dyan talaga, yung CSC, I think, sorry Seth, 10 taon na ako wala sa gobyerno. Yung CSC, memorandum ba yun? Na nag-aano ng pag-submit ng SALN, yung design ng SALN, at saka ilang beses mo siyang pwedeng Sabi ko nga kung ang magiging kasalanan lang ay dahil hindi suportado nung nilagay mong income, pagkatapos sasabihin mo, actually nagkamali ako, nakalimutan ko lang isama, and you are allowed for the first time, sayang yung lahat ng efforts na nagawa. Diba? Sana naman, kung seryoso talaga, lagyan ng konting struktura. Kasi parang nananabik tayo, parang niro-romanticize, diba? Bit by bit, sige, ito yung 15 contractor, sige, may lifestyle check. Pero hindi talaga siya tinitignan yung tinatawag nating operationalization of this control. Parang how do you operationalize this? Considering yung mga naging problema natin in the past, as I've said, this is not the first time na ginawa natin, di ba? Ang maganda nito, Seth and Shawn, yung nagiging aggressiveness ng ating mga kabataan in calling out itong mga, tawag nila, sorry, I'll just use the term, yung mga nepo babies, di ba? Kasi may psychological yan, di ba? And I think kailangan din talagang may follow-up para kahit pa paano magkaroon talaga ng, yung psychological side of it na huwag natin i-flaunt, lalo na kung funded out of a flood control, di ba? So, yun. So, sana seryosohin. Lagyan ng struktura. Sinong magmo-monitor nito? And sabi ko nga, hagipin na nga naman yung existing legal, as it is right now, sino ang may hawak ng SALN? Halimbawa, ang mga SALN ng salary grade 26 and above, kanino dapat yan? Yan ba sa ombudsman? Okay. Yung mga ahensya, ano ang expected sa kanila? Kasi otherwise, useless yung pagpapile natin ng SALN. Samantalang ang ganda-ganda sana kung sinigundahan natin na, okay, tuwing papasok, kapag ikaw ay nag-apply, magsasubmit ka, at kunyari may isang section doon sa HR na nakabantay doon sa monitoring, kahit yung increase-decrease lang. Diba? Kasi kaya nga namin nakita yun ang pa ng item, ang bilis tumaas ng SALN. Sana nakita na kaagad sa loob ng ahensya, diba? Hindi na kailangang hintayin pa sa presidente. Ito yung nakakalungkot. Maraming built-in control sa existing ng gobyerno. But the problem is, nagulat tayo, it takes the president siya muna yung nagsalita. Siya yung tumawag, diba? So parang sa akin, parang nakakahiya sa mga heads of agency. Parang nakakahiya sa mga oversight agencies, diba?
Commissioner, may very valid point na binanggit si Vice President Sara Duterte about this supposed upcoming lifestyle check. Sabi niya, marami kasing dummies. And true enough, di ba? Earlier, Ces and I were discussing about the Panama Papers na parang wala namang pumansin. Ano yung role ng AMLAC dito, ng BIR dito? Meron ba silang mandato para rin mag-conduct? Kahit yung simpleng check lang since, mabigat naman yung BIR pag mag-crackdown sa mga negosyo. Di ba pwedeng gawin din nila ito sa mga opisyal natin?
Depende yan. Sabi ko nga, merong mga tinatawag na incompatible function, di ba? Huwag natin pagsamahin yung masyadong magpapalawak at magpapalalim ng kanilang kapangyarihan. You know what I mean, right?
Right.
So, kailangan balansehin natin ang gusto, di ba? At yun nga rin, the one that should be given this should have the necessary competence. Hindi madaling mag-lifestyle check, ha? It's a bit, may training yan, meron yung requirements na diba? So I mean, kailangan balikan ano yung naging problema ng lifestyle check in the past. At yun na ang tanong. Yun din ang aking pahabol. Kung nakita natin na yung oversight agencies na compromise, we are also open to the fact that the one who will be assigned to do the lifestyle check can also be corrupted. Alam natin yan, di ba? So ano yung system na gagawin mo? What is the check and balance na i-adapt?
All right. Now, if we may shift, of course, we will wait for the President's announcement that this isn't just lip service, but Heidi, na-implicate din ng COA and actually sa mga flood control project and actually parang hindi masyadong nasusunod ang possible complicity of COA in all these billions of pesos of anomalous projects.
Oo. Well, unang-una, ang ano ko dyan ay, dapat hindi ako ang tinatanong. Di ba, sis? Hindi ako dapat ang tanongin kasi I am no longer with the commission. Kaya nga, gulat na gulat ako. Ako pa yung pinag-explain ng iba. Kasi ako daw yung ipinreach sa Japan. Sabi ko, excuse me. 10 taon na akong wala. At kahit kung nandyan ako, wala
tama,
akong
pero
ganyan
Heidi,
storya.
yung kalakaran na paano naman na sa stamp na completed kung walang COA stamp of approval audit
Okay.
na pumasa siya, di ba?
Okay, hindi naman natin inaano yan. Hindi naman natin parang pinagtatakpan or what, ano? Ang tawag ko diyan ay nandito yung tinatawag nating vulnerability, yung weaknesses ng oversight, ano? At kahit anong institusyon, talagang walang institusyon na infallible, kumbaga, no? At lahat talaga may risk na mako-opt at kapag talaga nagkaroon ng panayban, talagang ano. But we must understand na ang dami din sa Commission on Audit na hindi naman gano'n, na talagang nagtatrabaho lang. And in fact, meron pa nababaril, di ba? Meron pa nababaril, napapatay. Pero ito yung gusto kong sabihin. If we want an effective oversight, then ayusin natin yung sistema. Kasi ganito yon. Gusto mo ng independent na Commission on Audit. Okay, binigyan mo ng fiscal autonomy, ano? Pero pinapipila mo sa budget. Di ba? And every budget hearing, sasabihin ni Congressman, o yung auditor mo masyadong straight, ilipat mo. Di ba? Totoo to. O yung auditor mo masyadong masipag, maraming nakikita, pakipalitan. Meron pang nagre-request o nag-ano na, uy, bigyan mo naman ako nung madaling kausap na auditor. So, ang point ko,
Commissioner, so
hindi
nung,
natin,
nung time ninyo po as COA chief, wala kayong
hindi ako
nababalitaan?
naging sipa, commissioner lang ako.
Commissioner pala. Nung time na yun, wala pang chismis doon sa loob ng ahensya na may ganitong kalakaran na. In your opinion, base sa mga kwento ngayon versus nung time ninyo po, did things change much for the worse, really? Or pare-pareho lang?
Matindi nun kasi serious yung chairperson noon, sa reform. Nireshuffle yung lahat ng auditors, di ba? Inikot, pinalitan, inilayo yung mga auditors doon sa mga marami talagang naapektuhan ng tinatawag nating reshuffling noon. So, walang masyadong, ibig ko sabihin, hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin 0% na wala, Pero, as far as we are concerned, wala kaming nakitang ganyan kasi napaka-seryoso nung anti-corruption ni President Noy, di ba? At saka at that time, di ba, yan yung time ng PIDAF, di ba? Talagang pinakita natin na yung mga reports natin, na ilabas natin na napakinabangan sa yun nga yung naging dahilan sa mga na-convict natin, na mga narinig natin sa dyaryo, Pero sabi ko nga, yung sistema at proseso, kailangan nating ayusin. Kasi hindi mawawala na magkaroon ng connivance, Kasi unang-una, post-audit tayo, di ba? Kung post-audit, posible. Ito yung hula ko, I am not sure, hindi ko nakita yung voucher. Ang hula ko, yung ghost project na March lang, tingin ko hindi pa siya napo-post-audit. Hindi pa siya natitingnan ng auditor.
What about staffing? Is that a factor? Usually, maririnig natin sa ahensya, mandato namin yan, but we don't have enough people to really check. So baka, patay mali siya, napapa-shortcut na lang?
Hindi naman napapa-shortcut. Ito yung mga specifics doon. Una, kukonti yung tao ng COA as compared sa mga agencies at sa mga transactions na kailangang i-audit. At kahit sabihin na risk-based approach na ang audit, nagre-resort pa rin ang kadalihan sa transaction basis, di ba? Can you imagine how many provinces we have? How many cities? How many agencies, di ba? How many national agencies? How many corporations? Lahat yan may audit report. How many barangays, di ba?
So you mean,
but if we will now focus on the anomalous flood control projects, pwede na bang isali sa investigasyon yung assigned sa DPWH, yung assigned
doon.
sa mga regional and district engineers?
Ang tawag natin dyan, siyempre, tinitingnan natin yung vulnerability. So, yun ang una nating titingnan. Sino yung nag-rebuild ng power or at the specific point of the transaction, di ba? Halimbawa, sa project inspection, sa contract review, dadating at dadating. Talagang merong mga tao na by the nature of the role, by the nature of the participation, mas magiging target or mas magiging, di ba? Without passing a judgment, of course, Sabi ko nga, it is something in the system, kaya kailangan i-review natin yung sistema. Ano yung mga vulnerabilities ng sistemang ito? At itama natin or i-correct natin. Let's do something here, diba? Dahil yung connivance, naandyan yan eh. There was a time na yung contractor na nagdadala ng SARO sa auditor. Kung ikaw ay pipituging auditor, nandyan ka lang sa baba. Pupunta yung contractor sa'yo na kilalang kilala. May dala ng SARO, sasabihin, alam niyo ho, project ito ni Congressman so-and-so. Alam na ho ito sa taas. Then how do you feel?
Commissioner, super quick clarification lang. Do you mean pag ino-audit yung project, post-audit, is it only the auditors are only checking the documents and everything kung maayos lahat? Or may site visit po bang kasama dito?
Meron. May physical inspection yan. May physical inspection yan. Ang problema natin, lalo na yung mga flood control projects, there are some projects na ang location hindi ganon kadaling puntahan o hindi ganon kadaling ma-inspect, di ba? So magre-rely ka lang sa, dapat meron kang, anong tawag dito, may mga equipment ka para magamit, di ba? So yun din, wala tayong masyadong equipment na nagagamit, di ba? Ano to, yung umiikot-ikot na parang camera para makita mo yung, ma-zoom in mo, mas malapit sa project, di ba? Drone, di ba? Wala nga daw drone ako hanggang ngayon eh, dadalwa lang daw. So can you imagine, you only have 2 drones. Ilang project inspection mo? Pero ako pupusta pa rin ako. I think some of the projects are not yet post-audited. Siguro, nagbabait-baitan lang ako. Ayokong isipin na Pero I must admit, and I think kailangan natin tingnan na under the existing system, wala tayong effective oversight. Because, sabi ko nga, gusto mo effective oversight. Pero, yung independence and objectivity ng audit ay nako-compromise because of the existing system and the practices that we have, diba?
All right, former COA Commissioner Heidi Mendoza, we thank you for talking to the Big Story. According kay Commissioner Mendoza, we have to get to the root of the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Ang dami pa kailangan magyari bago makasimula ang maayos na lifestyle check. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. Coming right up, Senator Risa Ontiveros says she is ready to challenge the ethics complaint filed against her by supporters of a jailed pastor. That story and more when the Big Story returns. Keep it here.
The Big Story is back with the House of Representatives set to open its own probe on alleged anomalous flood control projects. House Infrastructure Committee Chairman Terry Ridon says the scheduled inquiry on September 2 will first focus on the ghost and substandard projects inspected by President Marcos. Invited resource persons include contractors, DPWH officials, and other government agencies that reviewed and approved these projects.
Dapat ho all-encompassing, yung pong review ng all infrastructure projects. And very important din po na talaga hindi lang tayo limited. In fact, I think the mandate of the Infrastructure Committee is not naman just po on flood control projects. It includes all infrastructure projects, and more importantly, it includes a very expanded timeline.
Meanwhile, Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong and Leyte 4th District Representative Richard Gomez seem to have settled their differences. The two were photographed sharing a hug. Magalong posted the image on his social media account with the caption, "Despite the noise and accusations, true friendships remain." The post comes a week after Gomez posted a cryptic message urging a clean mayor to address a quote, clean mayor to address his city's problems before dragging Congress into corruption allegations.
Meantime, lawyers Ferdinand Topacio, Jing Paras, and Manuel Luna have filed an ethics complaint against Senator Risa Ontiveros. This is over the legislator's supposedly disorderly conduct. The attorneys are accusing Ontiveros of paying witnesses so she can have exposés.
She has been getting away with so much for so long a time. Di ba yung kay Kian?
Yes.
Na kinuha niya yung mga witnesses, nagpatulong sa amin yung magulang para kunin yung mga minor na kinuha ni Senator Ontiveros. Pangalawa yung sa Farmally. Nag-testify, may affidavit yung mga witnesses sa Farmally na binayaran daw sila para mag-testify falsely against Farmally executives. Pangatlo, yun na ngang kay Murillo. So pattern na po ito eh. Someone has to tell her, stop, hindi na tama ito.
The issue here is due process eh. The issue here is accountability. Now, kung tatahimik na lang, hindi ipatawag ng Senado yung mga possible witnesses that points to her alleged offenses, walang accountability ang isang senador.
But the complaint will have to wait to be addressed as the upper chamber is yet to appoint an ethics committee chairman. For her part, Senator Ontiveros called the allegations recycled lies and harassment. Nevertheless, the senator says she is ready to face the charges. Ontiveros likewise hopes that there will be fair handling of the complaint from the new ethics committee head.
Recycled lies, harassment, ano pa nga ba? Ako naman ay buong loob kong haharapin yung complaint nila once na mabasa ko. Hindi po kami magpapadistract dyan. Basta't pagka-file nila, babasahin namin ang complaint at haharapin namin ang buong buo.
The Judicial and Bar Council has begun public interviews today for candidates seeking the position of Ombudsman. That's following the retirement of Ombudsman Samuel Martires, whose 7-year tenure ended last July 27. Michael Aguinaldo, Romeo Benitez, and Joni Caroche Vestido were among the first to be interviewed. As per the JBC's list, there are 17 applicants for the post, including Justice Secretary Boying Remulla and former BIR Chief Kim Henares. The Ombudsman interviews will run until September 2, with recordings only for release after all the sessions have been completed.
And the lights are a little bit dimmer in Philippine cinema. Legendary director Mike De Leon has died at the age of 78. De Leon is the man behind classic films such as horror film Itim, the psychological shocker Kisap Mata, based on a Nick Joaquin crime reportage. De Leon was also the genius behind Batch 81, which tackles fraternal violence, and the political drama Sister Stella L, which starred Vilma Santos as an activist nun. Also, the martial law-themed Citizen Jake, his final directorial feature. Overall, Mike De Leon has done 10 features in a career that spanned 4 decades, making him one of the greatest Filipino directors of all time. Our condolences go out to the family and friends of Mike De Leon.
We're pausing for another break, but after that, we get to know more about the wood of the gods and the company accredited to extract its precious resources. Sustainability is next on The Big Story. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us here on The Big Story. It's known as the wood of the gods and one of the most expensive trees in the world. A tree can cost up to 1.2 million pesos, and its byproducts are attracting huge markets inside and outside the Philippines. Meet agarwood. In 2010, the market value of an agarwood tree hidden primarily in the jungles of Mindanao is worth 5 million pesos. Its aromatic resin is one of the most precious in the world, used as incense, perfume, medicine, and food ingredients. The DNR has tightened regulations in extracting agarwood to protect the tree from extinction. Since 2019, the department has already confiscated over 80 kilograms of illegally harvested agarwood chips, equivalent to more than 12 million pesos. The very first company allowed to import, propagate, and sell agarwood seedlings is United Agarwood Planters Incorporated, a subsidiary of Zambales-based Iba Botanicals. Iba Botanicals uses seedlings for essential oils and fragrances that have become a multi-million peso industry. Here we feature companies with earth-friendly initiatives, one story at a time. Welcome to Sustainability. Well, you know, 9 of the 21 known agarwood species are found in the Philippines, and 6 of them are endemic to the country. One is Aquilaria malacensis, known as lapnisan, which is a major source of agarwood. To discuss more about this precious tree and the company built from it is Benjamin or Benjamin. Just like Magalong. We're not quite sure. It's Ben Mead. He's the founder and CEO of Iba Botanicals. Good evening, Ben. Welcome to the show. Well, let's begin from Iba Botanicals before we go into agarwood. How did you begin?
So I'm an Australian, but I've been here in the Philippines since 2015.
Okay.
And so initially I came here for non-agri related business, was investing in power and some other opportunities, but quite quickly saw the potential for agriculture in the Philippines, particularly in global markets, and when we highlight these premium qualities. And so we've been able to build a business of developing plantations and producing these high-value botanical extracts that are then marketed into Europe, into the US, and used for fine fragrance and other consumer goods.
Ilang-ilang, you export vetiver elemi.
Yes.
Yeah, thank goodness that there's a Filipino company doing it.
Yes.
Because otherwise they would not have known that ilang-ilang is actually the best ilang-ilang, right, Ben?
Correct. So ilang-ilang is from the Philippines, but unfortunately in the 1940s, the industry moved to Madagascar.
Yeah.
And so today most of the production is offshore. So we've reintroduced the production of ilang-ilang in its native lands. So we're planting primarily in Zambales. So when you drive to the farm in Zambales, you actually see it growing in the wild along the side of the road. And fortunately, the quality of the ilang-ilang that we produce, just like wine, if you take the same grapevine from France to Napa in California, it'll give you a different perspective. The ilang-ilang that we produce in the Philippines from the same tree that is also now growing in Madagascar produces an exceptional quality oil.
Really? You mean it's the same tree?
It's the same species, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So it's not only endemic to the Philippines?
No, my understanding is that the seeds were taken and transferred to Madagascar. So, yes, so it's the same species but grown in a different environment. So
But they don't have the laharter.
What's the edge of a Philippine ilang-ilang over the Madagascar one? Yeah.
So I find it's not just ilang-ilang, it's all the botanicals that we produce. The quality from the Philippines tends to be better, and I think that's a function of the soil and the climate and things like this. So it's very exciting because to have something that's truly Filipino and marketed as a Filipino ingredient to be the best in the world is exciting for the country, and it's a very exciting opportunity for the company as well. So today,
and livelihood for Filipinos. Let's
very
not
much,
forget.
very much.
Potential to earn more from agriculture.
Absolutely, and so. We have, as you mentioned, we have a number of botanicals that we work in a number of different ways. For some of them, we partner with indigenous communities. So we're working with hundreds of indigenous ITA IPs in Zambales. In Bukidnon, we're also working with the indigenous as well. And then we also have a way that we can work with everyday Filipinos, particularly with agarwood, people who want to invest in agriculture. They want to put their land to good use, but growing a conventional food crop or something like that has some pretty unique challenges.
Yeah. So let's now go to agarwood because the potential, you know, I was talking millions just earlier.
Sure.
Tell us, because it's become like a lechon manok thing.
Yeah.
When you go outside Manila, you'll see people selling agarwood seedlings.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So why is there a mad rush to plant this, and why should they plant with you instead?
Sure. So agarwood is the highest value agricultural agroforestry product that you can plant and sell into the market. We were the first company to get the license to do legal plantations of agarwood. It's a critically endangered species because the value can be so high in the wild. So in the wild, this tree has a unique characteristic that in response to stress or injury, it starts to produce this heartwood. In some rare cases, it can be worth $100,000 per kilo. So people hear about this every time they find a tree, they'll cut it down. Yeah, absolutely. So
that's why it's an unendangered.
Yes, yes, yes. Because it's only a very small percentage of trees that have this in the wild. So in 1995, the tree was placed on the endangered species list. And since that time, you can't trade agarwood cross-border. You can't import and export without a special license. And that license says, okay, this is an endangered species, but it comes from a legal source. It's not smuggled, it's not poached.
And you have this license.
We have it. So we were the first company to get this in late 2021. There are other countries in Asia that have more mature agarwood plantation industries because they got their policies in place sooner than the DNR, but we were the first company to get this. And so today we have extensive plantations and continuing to grow very strongly. We have planters in about 20 provinces of the Philippines, and then in Bukidnon, down in Mindanao, we have some very large plantations.
How many hectares
Go
are we
ahead,
talking
Shawn.
about, Ben? Just to give everyone
We're
a
so
perspective.
excited. We're competing
I
for
know,
questions.
because this is a really like good
Sure.
perfume
Sure.
ingredient,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It
Yeah.
sells like oud,
Yeah.
and it's like in the most not just like all perfume is expensive, but there's like expensive.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like the Nepo babies, perhaps they know what this is. But hectares?
Today, probably 250 hectares planted, but ongoing. Our largest plantation is in Bukidnon, so this is 116 hectares that we're continuing to plant out. We're planning to scale to around 300 to 500 hectares per year is the plan.
That's a lot.
Yeah, the secret to agarwood, people think, okay, I get this seedling, I plant it, I'll turn around and in 6 or 7 years I'll become a millionaire. It's not that simple.
Okay.
It's important to grow it well. It's important to have a legal seedling as a starting point. Grow it well, but also the way you trigger the tree to produce the oud is really the key. And so
you have to hurt the tree.
you do have to hurt the tree a little bit, but it smells amazing. So.
Yeah.
And then finally, the connection to the market. So we have all of that.
Because you're already exporting.
Correct.
You have a reputation and
Correct.
connections with the market.
Correct, and we're also focused on absolute best practices. So I'm focused on producing the best quality botanicals that I can with the best supply chain, traceability, inclusive development, and all of these things. So when you offer this into the international market with a product that they really want, like agarwood, there comes a very strong demand. So
they're just waiting for your
Soon.
trees to mature.
Soon, yeah.
How
So we're
old are
about-
these trees?
Yeah, like
We're-
the turnover is how long? For example, you plant it today. How
Yeah.
long before you can, start to hurt the
hurt the tree.
tree and extract the
So
oud?
the key is getting the tree to a certain size before it's called inoculating the tree. So you're essentially mimicking what happens in nature when insects burrow inside the tree, or the tree,
The
gets some
tree's
sort of,
protecting itself.
that's how it protects itself, is by producing the oud. And so it's really about getting the trunk of the tree to about 20 centimeters in diameter. So depending on where you plant the tree, it'll get there faster. You can plant this tree just about anywhere, but if you grow it in an environment where it's hotter, less rainfall, more intense sunlight, things like that, it'll grow a bit more slowly. So one of the reasons why we favor Bukidnon is because it rains every day, the soil is amazing, we have altitude, and it's just a really
All the
conducive
conditions
It's a very conducive.
are
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Now, those with farmland or those who want to invest can do so with United agarwood, right?
Yes.
How do they do that, and why with you?
Sure. So you mentioned earlier about lechon manok and the phrase on agarwood, and no, I understand it very well, because since we
You can even
start,
buy it on Lazada and Shopee.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
online platforms.
you can, and the challenge is it starts and ends with legal seedlings. So you're not allowed to collect seedlings from the wild because of critically endangered species.
So those who are selling are maybe.
I'm not
from the
saying
wild.
in all cases,
Yeah,
but
but some.
it's really, this is the absolute key, because if you don't have the legal seedlings with the right documentation, you can do all of that hard work, you can be successful, but then you won't be able to export your agarwood. So it really starts with that, but it's not just about that, it's also knowing how to grow it. So we have PhDs in agarwood production on our staff. We have foresters who've worked in Thailand and in Malaysia who really know it. But the third one is the technology you use to inoculate the tree, to stimulate the production of the oud. And so we've licensed the technology that was developed in Malaysia by the University of Malaysia. It's the world's best technology. It produces a quality that's on par with the wild quality. And so what that means is that we know it's also been validated by some of the largest buyers of agarwood in the world. So people make money, the lechon manok followers make money by selling seedlings that may have questionable origin and by selling inoculants that are not necessarily proven. So it's important to focus on absolute best practices and the end point, which is producing the best quality agarwood that you can.
And so that we can brag about Philippine agarwood is the best in the world.
And what's really interesting to know, actually, I'm told that in the global market, Philippines whilst there's no legal Philippines agarwood yet to be exported, there are other agarwoods, from grey areas and black market. But the Philippines agarwood is the most sought after. That's the one that fetches the highest price.
Like more than Malaysia, where it
Yes.
kind of came from, and they've probably made it into a national industry type of thing.
Yeah, the wild Philippines agarwood, I'm told, is the one that fetches the highest price.
Price. Okay.
So, have you copied kind of like the quality of? Have you ever smelled the in the wild oud, and how does your product compare to it?
Yeah, but more than the scent, one of the reasons why we've licensed this technology from the University of Malaysia is they've analysed the wild agarwood. So they had a special license from the government. They analysed the wild agarwood, the best quality agarwood, and they identified the chemical compounds in the agarwood that give it its premium quality. And then they've, over a period of time, adjusted the inoculation technology to mimic the wild quality, so that today, when you use this inoculant, when you harvest the tree, if you don't tell the buyer this is from a plantation, they can't tell the difference. And so that's very, very exciting. So the ability to do it at scale, legally, and in a sustainable and inclusive way is super
What
exciting.
you're doing is protecting those that are in the wild. I don't believe that only 80 kilos were confiscated. Come on.
I think it's more than that.
More than that.
Yeah, I think it's more than that.
Yeah. So this will help stop.
We hope so.
Hopefully.
We certainly hope so.
Yeah.
We hope so. Human nature is we hope so.
Okay. But will only Filipinos who have big tracts of land and money to invest, will they be the only ones to benefit, or how can an ordinary agricultural small holder farm benefit?
Absolutely. Because of the interest in agarwood, we wanted to structure our operations in a way that didn't just include the big landholders that had the funds to do the large-scale plantation development. And what we have is an offering on our plantation in Bukidnon, where if people want to plant and they don't have the land or the capacity, or they don't want to manage the labor and manage all of the business, we will plant it for them on their behalf. So the trees are geotagged, so every tree is identified with the owner. It's still owned entirely by the planter, so they make all the decisions. They choose when to inoculate. They don't even have to use our inoculant if they want to go and try something else. But it's designed to essentially, whether it's a private landholder for 5 hectares and above, or in Bukidnon, we can do as few as 125 seedlings.
How much is one?
How much is one?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Bakas na lang.
So the approximate cost for the full life cycle of growing the tree is give or take 6,000 or 6,500 pesos. So that's everything. That's the seedling cost, includes a mortality guarantee. So if the tree dies for any reason, we give a free seedling.
It has life insurance.
It has life insurance, yeah.
And then
the inoculation and the harvesting. So approximately 6 or 6.5, and then the numbers that I work on
are conservative,
and I would be expecting to yield at least 2 kilos per tree at around 100,000 pesos per kilo. So say 200,000 per tree from a cost of 6.5. To be honest, I think we'll exceed those numbers, but those numbers provide a very attractive return, and I think the testament to that is the strong engagement that we're seeing. I mean, we're seeing people from all over the Philippines, OFWs. There's a lot of excitement in what
Sabi ko nga, parang lechon manok. But will there come a time that there will be an oversupply? Because everybody seems to want to enter into this.
Sure. That's a question I get asked a lot. I've never lost a night's sleep worrying about oversupply. We have one partner, a buyer in the Middle East, who's told us that if we plant 1,000 hectares per year, they can take everything. I don't expect to get to the point of planting that many. I think a sustainable number is probably somewhere between 300 and 500 hectares per year. And
this is a buyer who's already getting ilang-ilang and LME and all these others aromatics from you.
And one of the largest buyers of agarwood in the world. So this is this is a very large buyer. The important thing is that by doing it at scale and consistently, so whether it's us growing it or whether it's you growing it on your land, by offering a consistent high quality regularly, we can command a premium in the market for the agarwood that we produce.
Yes, I love it. So much promise.
Yeah. Finally, Ben, what does this mean for our agriculture industry that's really needing a shot in the arm? So yeah.
So I think botanicals in general provides a really exciting opportunity for the Philippines. We've been able to, as the pioneer of this not just agarwood, but botanicals, we've been able to establish the Philippines as a credible and exciting new origin. And so I think that continuing to develop botanicals from the Philippines in a sustainable way is a really it's a ray of hope for the country. And so every day I go to work, I can't believe that I get to do this for a job. It's so enjoyable.
Finally we'll be achieving our potential.
Absolutely.
As a botanical supplier and destination.
Why has no one thought of this before Ben?
You need scale.
Sometimes it takes a foreign perspective with a local knowledge to put it together. So I've been here for 10 years, so I've begun to understand the Philippines, but I have this perspective. So all I would say in closing is that if anybody's interested to plant agarwood, United Agarwood Planters is our Facebook page, and then also at AgriLink at the start of October 2 to 4, we'll also be there as well. So if anybody wants to learn more, it's at the World Trade Center.
Okay. Okay. Lechon manok.
The new lechon manok.
No. Anyway, thank you, Ben. Ben Mead is the founder and CEO of Iba Botanicals. And, well, that's it. That's the big story tonight. Thank you for watching.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Have a good night, everyone.